So here's my band, here's my balls, and constructive rest pose on the back. We're going to have sun on my face. I'm going to turn around this way. We're going to have our knees bent and our balls under the butt. You can have a blanket or a pillow or some kind of an elevation, because for immunity, we need to stimulate a little bit of lymphatic flow, and lymph flows upwards in the body. So we're going to elevate our pelvis up on something to stimulate a little bit of that. And we're going to have our arms wide out. Find a comfortable position that allows our chest to feel open. And take a few long exhalations and relax a little bit. Let your low back drape. Knees are together, feet are apart, so that you are not spending any energy in this position at all and can completely relax. And I like to just do a little head turning side to side with my head level with the rest of the spine, just flat on the floor. I don't use a mat, as you may notice. I do my yoga on a nice carpet, which is soft and firm enough in ideal ways for me. Some head circles, all of this to stimulate a little bit of blood flow and lymph flow around our neck and under the jaw and behind the ears. And with the arms up wide in the armpits, we have some lymph nodes there. And long exhalations. Head circles, head movements. And also a little bit of self-massage. You can rub your hands together and then massage your neck. Moving your hands up the neck, massaging behind the ears a little bit. Use very light touch because lymph is right underneath the skin, so you don't want to dig deep. Although if you have a knot or two, feel free to dig a little deeper. Just let your hand reach for whatever feels like needs attention in your back, neck, scalp, temples. There is this tapping technique I don't know anything about, but people say just tapping at strategic spots can really help stimulate nervous system for healing. So you can just tap a little bit lightly on your forehead, around the eyes. Good. Do some nice sweeping of the hands underneath the armpits upwards to stimulate some lymph flow there. Relax the jaw. Just generally get in the mood for a nice relaxing time. So stress is one of the worst things we have to deal with, and yoga can be such a wonderful tool to help us manage stress. Next, we'll do some easy arm movements. Let's start with the arms down the sides, and as we inhale, we'll reach up overhead, all the way up, elongating. And as we exhale, we'll reach back down to our sides. Let's do a few coordinating breath and movement together. And as you reach up and elongate, you can arch your low back a little bit. And as you reach down and exhale, you can round the low back a little bit. And if you're doing this on the miracle balls, they roll up and down a little underneath your pelvis, and that feels nice. And just generally think about elongating your spine, finding more space in the front of the body as you inhale, and more release in your back body as you exhale. One last one. And then you can take the balls if you're using them, or the blanket, or whatever it is you have under there, out, so you can grab your knees into chest. And we'll massage our low back and sacrum with a bit of rocking side to side, circling around a few times, holding onto the knees in each direction. Keep lengthening the exhale. And some egg beaters are nice too. Hold on to each knee as you circle the thigh bones and their sockets, like egg beaters, a few times around and around. Keep checking in with sensations. Feel your body, check into your body, be present. Good. Then holding on to the knees still, so we want to have this really relaxing, minimum effort experience. Inhale, legs away into tabletop, pointing the toes. And exhale, draw back into chest, flexing the feet. And continue at your pace. Inhale, table point. Exhale and flex, and as you guide the knees in, you can softly pulse them. Keep your shoulders relaxed. One or two more, giving our low back a chance to release some tension. And then we'll straighten the legs on the floor and inhale, reaching overhead into a full body stretch. Elongate, elongate, and then exhale, bring one leg in. Use your hands to guide it closer and give it a little circle around, a little ankle twirl, mobilizing our joints. Let's go side to side. Inhale, full body stretch. Exhale, other leg in. And continue at your pace. Make the pace slow, luxurious. Feel your body, feel the feet, even the spaces between the toes. Feel the arches of the feet. Side to side. We're kneading tension out of the body. Tension gets in the way of better alignment in our yoga shapes. So I like to begin practice with just easy, relaxing movements on the floor. As we're lying down, lymph continues to flow, blood continues to flow. Gravity here works in our favor, aligning our head level with the rest of the spine. Let's do one more side to side. And then if you're not using the band, you can just move your leg without it. So you will have your left leg bent on the floor, right leg straight, and on the exhale you would lift it up, and on the inhale you would bring it down. If you want to use a band, a strap, a belt, put that leg in, hold the ends. This will help to snuggle the hip joint a little bit so it's a little easier for it to work, while giving your foot something to feel, which is important for us to stimulate the nervous system with some extra sensations. So as you inhale and lower, exhale, pull in your abdomen, zip in your core, and then bring the leg up, just to the point where you feel some sensation in the back of it. Feel free to give it a little massage if it is a bit intense right now. And inhale down, exhale, zip up, and feel. Inhale down, exhale, zip up, and feel. So let's just be with this for a few reps. Micro-sequencing, breath, core engagement, movement, in that order. Just giving your hamstrings a little time here to loosen up. And give your foot some action. I call these Barbie feet or gas pedal feet, so that the arches of the feet are really engaged. Last one, and as your leg comes up, grab both ends of your band if you're using it in your opposite hand and bring the leg all the way to the floor. You can tap out the hip flexor here a little bit or just give it a little rub if it's feeling a little tingly. The point was actually bring some blood flow to the hip flexors, and then slide the leg across the midline, pigeon toe the foot a bit, slide shoulders across the midline, and extend your free arm out and elongate that whole side. Soften in this little lateral shape. And breathing into our side ribs here, expanding all of this rib cage. And then when you're ready to switch legs, come back to center, level off, bring the leg up, and step the other one in if you're using the band. Again, this is optional. Have your first leg bent. As you inhale and lower, exhale, zip your belly, bring it up, feel a little stretch. Ooh. Inhale down, exhale up. Every morning is like a rusted old gate. Where is my oil can? Feet active. Interacting with your muscles with your hand via touch is actually a good technique to communicate to them if they're feeling a little resistant. So you can see me using my technique on my tight left hamstring this morning, where I just massage it as soon as I get that feeling in there. Again, it's kind of playing with the edge. You don't want to get to the point where sensations are so intense they are really distracting and overwhelming. You want to get it to the point where you're feeling it, you really are feeling it, but it's not in any way too much. When you're ready to release, bring the leg to the floor, slide across the midline, pigeon toe, slide the shoulders across the midline, extend your same side arm out somewhere overhead or to your side, and take a moment here to relax with a long exhalation. A moment of pure bliss. And then come back to center. Take the band off. Keep it within easy reach. Grab the knees in to chest for a moment of just resetting our low back. And then we'll do a tense release technique that's really good at dumping out a lot of tension from the body all at once. But it's good to do it not right off the bat, but after a little while once you already started the process. So as you inhale, bring the legs up into the ceiling, flex. Arms overhead, make fists, and then tense your body, and then dump as you grab, hold, and pulse. And we'll repeat that a few times. Tense, 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 tense. And dump. And hold and pulse. Go at your pace a few times. So good. And then relax for a sec. Enjoy how this makes your body feels lighter, like you lost a few pounds. Tension feels heavy. Tense muscles are heavy. So once you release some tension, all of a sudden, where there was cement, you feel a little marshmallow consistency and texture, and it feels so good. The reason why I like to not be on the mat is that I like to kind of be on the floor that's not sticky, where I can slide and glide. Let's do an easy twist with our feet apart. And as we exhale, release the knees to one side, head in the other. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist and elongate. Inhale, center. A few times to each side. Reaching in the other direction with the arm. Long exhalations. Very good. And then we'll come onto our side and do a bit of twisting on the side. Put the knees up at 90 degrees and head supported in our bottom arm so that our neck is level with the rest of the spine. And start with your arm right out in front of you, the top one. And as you inhale, reach up overhead. Turn your ribs to follow along as you reach back. And then as you exhale, continue the path past the hip back to start. Inhale up and around. Exhale down and to start. Meanwhile, you want to keep your knees together and on the floor. Avoid lifting that knee and allowing your pelvis to drift along. Use your belly muscles to anchor down the pelvis so that you are really concentrating the action in the upper spine. And support the head, look up at the ceiling so that it's easier to rotate the ribcage when we're looking in the direction we want to rotate it. It doesn't have to be a huge movement, but big enough to really feel generous. And I use the stuck in molasses technique to make it a little bit more meaningful from the point of view of sensations. I activate my arm and my back muscles as if I'm stuck in molasses. Doing this with a bit of self-resistance makes it feel extra delicious. One last one. And then rest your hand on the floor in front of the chest. Next step, extend the top leg to straight. Keep using your belly muscles for stability as you circle this around. Sometimes I have my hand on the hip to make sure I am not wobbling. You don't want to be wobbling in the pelvis. You really want to use your core to secure stability. Engage your foot. Give it that nice Barbie foot gas pedal action. Let's reverse the direction. Very good. And then my favorite one, on the inhale, we'll go into a side body stretch with the leg reaching down and the arm up overhead. And on the exhale, we'll bring the knee into chest and the bent elbow back and down towards the floor behind us and twist here, looking up or back. And then inhale, side stretch. And exhale, twist. And you just add a little tense releases here as well. As you inhale, you can really actively elongate, like tensing in the shape a bit. And as you exhale, long exhalation, you just melt into the shape, drape into the twist. And what I like to do, why I like being not on the mat, is that I'm always drifting and sliding along the floor and find myself sometimes in a different position. But it gives my body this opportunity to just drift if it wants to, if it needs to. Rest a little bit on your side, and then we'll flip over and do this on the other side. Bring your knees up, lock and load your core, rest your head in the bottom arm. Inhale, reach up, around, exhale, bring it back. Make it generous, stuck in molasses. Reach with purpose, as if there is somewhere to reach for. And keep your knees together and on the floor. And what a nice sunny morning. I plan on making more videos for my YouTube channel, putting them up this spring when the weather is nice enough to film outside. One last one. And then rest your hand on the floor. Take your top leg to straight. Lock and load your core as you circle that around. Barbie foot, so you feel the feet. The sensations provide your nervous system with a lot of wonderful stimulation. Think of it as food for your nervous system when we are stressed and worried and anxious, stuck in our mind, ruminating and churning over thoughts. We are not feeling the body, we're not feeling the physical world we're in, and our nervous system gets depleted from the sensations, right? Especially if we don't move much. This will reverse the direction of our circle. So think of it this way, you're providing sensations as food, a variety of nutrition for your nervous system to feast on. Пир во время чумы. A feast in the times of, what was it, Garcia Marquez? Plague, yeah, feast in the times of plague. All these things are coming to mind. Yes. And then inhale, side body stretch, elongate, elongate, elongate. And then exhale and drape into the twist as your knee comes in and the elbows go back. Think of wringing a soft cashmere sweater out as you twist. Really soft, really relaxed. And I just let my body drift and slide on the floor like a cat in a patch of sun I am right at this moment. Just melting. Last one. Just rest for a second on your side. Come onto your back for a moment to reset there with some Apanasana, holding onto the knees. Inhale out, exhale in, pulse, pulse. You can do a little spine stretch by holding onto the knees and curling off the floor into a C shape. It's a nice stretch for between the shoulder blades. And then relax back. Very nice. From here on, we'll flip around and come into child's pose. So take your time and come into extended child's pose with your hips as far back towards the heels as they reach and the arms as far forward as they reach, with the knees closer together so your ribs can be on top, and you can encourage some nice breaths into the back ribs there. So reach, elongate, come into the shape and find your back body breath. So you want to really feel some movement in the lower back here as you inhale. So now we want to deepen our inhalation. We're going to be moving towards back bends. We want to have the effect of airbags going off for safety of our low back when we are doing back bends. So when you feel that's happening for you, inhale into table pose. Create a little back bend. Zip in your lower belly and then exhale back into child's pose. Repeat a few times. Inhale table with the belly zip. Exhale child's. And then some cats and cows. As we inhale and arch on all fours, we keep our low rise zip. And as we exhale and round, we deepen the zips, pull the belly in and round the spine. And there we are, back and forth. Inhale, arch. Exhale, round. Go fluidly back and forth. And I just, you can probably see how I'm just filling out the shape. I like to think of it like packing the sand into a little mold. When you were a kid and played in the sandbox, you wanted the shape to be really good with no missing parts, no little holes. So when I come into the cat shape, I push my back into every little nook and cranny of the shape to fill it up. And that feels good. And now we'll do what I call the jump rope, where we inhale center with a low rise zip. Exhale, give a side a squeeze, then we round the spine. Do the other side, squeeze. Inhale, center. Exhale, go in the other direction. I have a separate video on various spinal movements on all fours and how to do them. I'm going to link it up for you to explore your spine if you're up for it. Once you've finished, rest back in child's pose, back body breaths, relax. Very good. And now from here we'll come onto our belly. Elbows under the shoulders. And let's take a moment to just wake a little bit more body awareness in our upper body with some shoulder shrugs, up, back, and down. Up, back, and down. And then looking over the shoulder a few times to feel how the neck fits in with the rest of the shape. Much of what I do in yoga practice and teaching is improving body awareness. Really getting a feel for your body. Here on the elbows, let's find our low belly zip, our feet active, and then sliding the hands out on the fingertips like piano hands here. We'll inhale and come up into a mild back bend, keeping our shoulders down, our belly engaged. And exhale, down, cheek to side, hover. Inhale up, looking down, shoulders down. Exhale, cheek other side, hover. And elongate as you come up. Trying not to use the arms. Just a little bit of help from the fingertips, no more. Come up as much as you're comfortable. Breathe into your lower back ribs. So you're having your belly support from underneath and your breath support from the top. And maybe stay in a mild back bend, like halfway up for a breath or so. Just to feel this. And then rest a little bit, folding the hands under your face. You can bend the knees and do some easy windshield wipers. Good. Now we'll do some leg lifts to keep our back strong. As you exhale, do your belly zip and extend one leg up and back. Inhale, bring it down. Exhale, other. Yes, keep going. Side to side. Simple movements, big rewards. Very nice. Maybe one more to each side, just to give it a little firing up of our low back, glutes and hamstrings. And then a little rest again with the windshield wipers, just to keep our back from cramping up. Keep blood flowing. Next, up on the elbows, we'll do a back bend with a little twist. So stay up on your left elbow as you take your right arm and reach across diagonally to the left. So this is inhale. Exhale, sweep it to that fingertip position and look over the shoulder as you twist a little bit, looking back. Inhale, diagonally to the left. Exhale. And it's as if you're backing out of your car and you're not using the camera in your car. You're looking out the back. Keep your pelvis level. Oftentimes people also roll over onto the hip. Keep the pelvis level as you do this to really target the upper body. Last one. And then we'll do this on the other side. Stay up on the right elbow. As you inhale, reach the left to the right. Exhale, fingertips. Look over. Pelvis level. So this is kind of a lateral here. This is kind of a back bend with a twist here. So there's a lot going on actually for our spine. So keep your low belly zip. Keep your back muscles engaged, your shoulder blade muscles engaged. And don't force your body into any shape so you feel a lot of resistance to. Play with the edge. Go up to the spot where you feel some sensation, but again, it's not in any way alarming. We're looking for effort but no strain. Right? A little rest when you're done, windshield wipe. So next we're going to do a little bit twist here to take this previous movement a little further. Twists are really good for driving blood flow to our digestive organs. Good digestion is also good for immunity. There's been a link found with that, so listen up. We'll have our hands out as we inhale and lift up just enough to make room so we can take our left arm through and lie on our left side, bring the right knee up. As you exhale, twist, reaching the free right arm back. Doesn't have to come to the floor. What does need to happen is this right knee needs to stay up. So don't do this. Do this. And then you would inhale, come out, straightening the leg, back onto your belly, push up, pull the arm out. Exhale, slide the right one, take the left knee, keep it down as you sweep the left arm back. So you're rotating just the upper back again. Twisting. Think of it as disassociation. You're disassociating the rib cage, twisting that from the pelvis, which stays anchored down. Inhale, come out with a little back bend. Exhale. And twist. Usually the third round feels the most delicious because you can just go a little further each time without needing to force, which is why I like to do dynamic versions of shapes a lot, because every time you come into that shape again and again, your body accepts it, your nervous system accepts it, and you just find much more ease in the shape. When you are finished, rest again on the belly, back body breaths, some windshield wipers if you want, or just bend and straighten the legs a little bit, just again to keep the back from cramping up. We'll do one last back strengthener here. My special skydive, swan dive version. So we'll inhale and reach arms forward and elongate. As we exhale, we're going to zip our belly, slide the legs apart, and bring the elbows bent tight towards your sides, lifting the chest and looking down. Inhale, swan dive. Exhale, slide into the skydiver shape. So this is a milder version. And again, the way I like to practice without a mat is that I can slide my hands and legs pretty easily on the floor. You can do the hovering version of this, where you would inhale and hover the legs and arms, and exhale, hover. Like that. So inhale, you go down a little. Exhale, you go up a little in the chest. Good. One last one. And then you're ready. Lift up. Come into child's pose. And if your back is feeling tired, inhale into table. Exhale into child's a few times to relax and settle the back. And then a little rest in child's pose, back body breaths. All right. Come up on the knees and step your right foot out a little bit out diagonally to the right. So not right straight in front of you, but slightly out to the right so you have a little wider base and feel more stable. And rest your right elbow right on top. Try not to sink in the right shoulder, just somewhere to place this, but have your spine really long and your belly engaged. And let's dangle our left arm into this abyss here for a second to really relax the whole musculature of the left side of the back. So you just dangle in a very loose, relaxed way. I really like the contrast we can have with various movements. So this is a loose, relaxed feeling, and then we're going to elongate and contract. I'm going to turn this way so you can see a little bit better what my back muscles are doing. As we inhale, we will reach forward and up and elongate. Let the shoulder blade lift up. Stretch all of these muscles here. As you exhale, zip your core, straighten up, and then pull back and down and contract all of these muscles in your back. Inhale, square the chest to the floor. Reach forward and up and bow this rib out. Exhale, twist with a straight back, neutral spine. Yes. Really reach like there's something there. And then exhale, pull back and down. I use this hand here to make sure this knee is not drifting and my pelvis is not drifting. I want to use my core to really stabilize the pelvis. So again, I'm disassociating. You may notice how similar this is to the one we did on our side, where we inhaled into side body stretch and then exhale, brought the elbow back and down. So we're again twisting. This hip is staying stable. Let's do one more. And then we'll hold both ends. We'll hold the inhale shape for a full breath. So sustain this elongation, this active reaching out for a full long breath. And then exhale, sustain the contraction. Really engage these muscles. Zip, 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 zip. All of this here. Stay. And then again, swing it out. Try and really loose swing to relax all the musculature on the left side of the back that we were just working on. Yeah? And then we'll do an easy child's pose, lateral, with left side longer than the right. So come into child's pose. Take your both hands to your right so that the side you were just elongating and contracting comes into a mild elongation. Don't make it a big reach. Just a little bit of a lateral shape to relax in. And just breathe into this part of your back where you were just actively working. And now we'll do the same on the other side. And I am getting warm. And this is a really good exercise to warm you up, get that blood flowing to your midsection. So next we'll have our left leg out at a slight angle. And when we rest our left elbow on it, we're trying not to sink in and disengage these muscles. We're staying really upright. We're engaging our core, our belly muscle. So this is just a place to put it because it's there and you got to do something with it. Dangle the right one and really loosely relax the whole right side of the body. I'm going to turn around. So when you feel like you're ready, inhale and reach forward and up, and maybe slightly diagonally there to the left to lift this up, to bow this out. Exhale, straighten, and with the belly zip, engage your back muscles as you pull back. Inhale, exhale. Think of it as doing pull-ups or chin-ups. This is one-armed chin-up action. And if you're feeling wobbly, remember to zip your belly muscles as you exhale and transition and shape shift. For more challenge, you can turn your head to look back. Whenever you let your eyes travel around, that's additional challenge to your balance. I love this. This makes me feel always very energized. This is good for correcting asymmetrically held tension along the spine, scoliosis, all that jazz. Let's hold each end. Let's hold the inhale for a breath, really reaching actively. Don't let the arms sink down. Keep reaching up, up, up by your ear. Yes. And then exhale, zip. Pull back, do that one-armed chin up and hold yourself there. Lots of action in the back. And then dump and swing all that out. One more time. So whatever muscles were locked in your back, locked long, locked short, become unlocked through this process. And then we're going to rest them. Let them come into a kind of a happy place with a lateral child's pose with our hands now to the left to elongate this right side we were working on. Come into a very comfortable, easy shape, so it's not a stretch, but just an easy lateral, and take a few breaths into your back right side ribs. Nice. Usually after this is a very good time to do down dog. Now when you're doing down dog, think about finding a mid-ground between the reaching, so we were doing reaching, and we were doing the contraction and the elongation. So when you're doing your down dog, think about right hitting that mid part between the elongation and the contraction. Find a place for your shoulder blades right in the middle where you're doing both at the same time. It's kind of an interesting way to think about it. When you're both reaching and contracting, elongating and contracting to stabilize the shoulder blade in place. So we'll come into a table pose. And this is a table pose from child's pose where you're extended out fully. So your hand is slightly ahead of the armpit. It says average distance dog. And then find your neutral pelvis. Zip your lower belly. Keep your tail up. Anchor your shoulder blades on your back. Now, do that midpoint between elongating and contracting and lock and load them. And then move back without rounding your spine. And up without rounding your spine. And keep reaching the tailbone up as you bend the knees. I think of it as kind of squatting a bit. And make sure you relax the head So again, all the lymph can flow easily. Relax your face muscles, and you can see how I'm bending my knees more, reaching my heels down. This gives me a nice stretch in the legs without this, which often happens in down dogs, is knees locks up and the back is rounded, and it's not a down dog, it's some kind of hybrid that doesn't do what we want. We want this elongation, we want a kind of a suction effect in the belly. You want to hang your head. Softly exit, dismount, dismount, back into child's pose. A little rest, wrist rolls, back body breaths. So mild inversions like this are really good. Let's do one more. And again, seek that perfect middle ground for your shoulder blades, where the shoulders are not up, nor are they aggressively down. You want to find that oppositional anchoring, doing two oppositional movements at once for maximum stability of the shoulder blade. So come into table. Spread your hand on the floor. And by the way, doing down dog on a carpet is a whole other beast altogether, where you can't be lazy and just stick your hands to it, you know. No, doesn't work. You really have to spread through the fingers, use every knuckle to claw into the floor, and that really helps to activate your back muscles in a different way. You can't just coast on the sticky. You have to really engage on the slightly slippery carpet. So come into your down dog. Keep tilting your pelvis forward. And you can see how my down dog is alive. I'm not frozen in place. I'm not just holding it. I keep on filling it out with my awareness. I do a little mini pedal of the heels to feel my legs. I do a little kind of readjustment of the shoulder blades. I do a little extra anchoring through the hands. I am constantly seeking a little extra sensation to feel in this shape. And when you're ready, come on out and rest well in child's pose. So first things first, let's rehab our back after the down dogs and things. Lying back, grabbing our knees in, and Apanasana away for a minute or so. So first things first, anchoring down our SI. I didn't do a lot of twists today for that reason. Usually I do maybe more twists, but today I feel the effects of my overzealous gardening, and I'm going to do some special SI stabilizing things. My favorite one is the hovering butterfly. My fellow yoga practitioners probably know how too much focus on hip openers have really made our devoted yoga practitioners vulnerable in their sacroiliac joints with instability there. So this actually has happened to me too, and the hovering butterfly along with the skydiver exercise has really helped me recover my SI, although I still have to be careful lifting heavy things. So have your feet together, knees together, neutral pelvis. And then bring your pelvis up off the floor, just an inch. You should be able to just slide your hand between the pelvis and the floor, but it's not all the way up in bridge pose. We'll do that later. Have your arms again out wide to stimulate the lymph flow all the way up. And this is an important point. When we're opening our knees, we want to do this real slow. So I'm going to do this for 1 or 2 minutes, and I'm going to do only 1 or 2 butterflies. So I suggest you count to yourself about 30 seconds to open, 30 seconds to close. And you're keeping your pelvis up the whole time. And you go so slow you can hardly tell I'm moving. But I'm moving. And this has been my secret to SI stability that I'm passing on to you. And this one you can practice anytime. You don't have to warm up for it. You have a minute, you can do this. This is not to practice when you're having an SI flare-up or sciatica outbreak. Haha, outbreak. But this is good preventative. So once your SI has calmed down, do this to avoid future disruptive things happening there. And also, this is good to build up strength if you're prone to having SI issues. You can do this after your SI calms down to heal. So you can see I'm not even fully opened. As I'm opening wider, I'm balancing on the outer edges of my feet. I'm doing this with my feet. I leave the space between my feet. I don't slide my feet together to the soles to touch, but I open out as wide as I can, and I'm still hovering. So I'm just about fully open my first butterfly. This is ideal pace. This is how slow you want to go. So I think I'm going to do just 1 butterfly in these 2 minutes or so. And if you're feeling wobbly, like I'm feeling a little wobbly in my maximum range right now, probably because of yesterday's excesses in the garden. I moved 10 bags of soil and mulch. It was brutal. I don't know. When I see my garden in the spring, I just can't help myself. But luckily, I have my hovering butterfly. I've been practicing it all year. My SI is doing well, and all I feel is just a little mild kind of whining from down there saying, eh, but nothing like it was before, where I would be just unable to move for 3 days. So, closing the butterfly. Take your time closing that last butterfly you're doing. And just visualize, just tightening the screws in your SI. Just tighten, 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 tighten. Keep your low belly zip. And I'm starting to shake, a little micro trembling right at the end. And this is where you really want to take this. You want to do this long enough to get to that little, oh yeah, that little shaky place where small muscles in your body are just trying to communicate, and they don't necessarily communicate well, but you are building, laying down new networks for them so that the shakiness subsides, eventually becomes much smoother movement, and only shakes for me now after I've been bad to my SI. Usually I don't get this shaking, so I know this is really helping me right now to recover, because I have 10 more bags of soil to, yeah. I think I'm going to call for help and be smart today. It's the weekend. I have a full house, no school, no university, nothing. So I have all hands on deck to help me move bags of soil. So close down your butterfly. See how long it took me to do 1 butterfly? Perfect. I feel that little trembling in there. A little rest, hugging the knees in. Ah. Very good. Next, we're going to do two types of bridge. One is integrative, to just kind of layer on top of our hovering butterfly a little bit more integrity deep in the core. So we'll have our feet on the floor, just a hip distance apart. Not too wide, not like this, not this hip distance, more like your hip joints distance. Find your neutral pelvis, meaning you want to have a little arch in the low back. Arms can go out wide. And you inhale to prepare. And then you exhale, you do your low rise zip, your high rise zip as you imprint, and then you roll up vertebra by vertebra into a mild bridge pose. Park right on tops of the shoulder blades, so your neck has neutral curve. There's no pressure on the neck. Inhale in place. In neutral, you can see me elongating. My low back arch is restored. And then I exhale and I scoop, imprint, and I roll down one vertebra at a time, and I find my neutral pelvis again. And then I inhale, exhale, scoop, imprint, and roll up with my active feet pressing into the floor. Inhale in place and exhale, roll down. Real fluid. The more fluid, the better. So work on that the next few rounds. And since I'm doing a very mild bridge, I'm not bringing my hips up so much as to affect my neck in any way. When I come into bridge pose, I can actually safely turn my head just a little bit side to side to encourage some extra lymph flow up the sides of the neck, behind my ears, jaw relaxed. There's lymph nodes under the jaw, just a tiny bit to get that going a little more. And then when I'm coming down on the floor, I do a bigger one, side to side. And then a tiny one up on bridge. While I'm inhaling. And then a bigger one on the floor while I'm inhaling. Right. Finish up. Do a little Apanasana. Do a head turn side to side. And we'll do a second version of bridge pose that is particularly beneficial for lymph flow. And we do this one usually when there's something around. We got something around. So we'll start with the arms down our sides this time. The breath will be switched. Pelvis will be in neutral throughout, although you can roll down vertebra by vertebra if you enjoy doing that. So as we inhale, bring the pelvis up and one arm overhead, and we turn the head to the side away from the arm. And then we exhale and come back down, head center. Inhale, up, arm up, head other side. Exhale, everything down, head center. Like this at your pace, neutral pelvis, inhale, up, exhale, down. And then both arms together. Oh, this is so good. My eyes are like even watering. Inhale, both arms up. Head obviously will stay in the center. And exhale down. And you just massage your upper back, this part of your back as you roll up. Again, try not to lift the pelvis so high that you start to feel your neck flattening or overstretching. There's no weight on the neck as you come up. You put your weight right on the top of the shoulder blades, top edge of the scapula. You don't want to go up more than that. Couple of more. By the way, if your SI is doing good and you've built it up and it's nice and strong, you can do bridge pose. Just leave your arms on the floor. Do bridge pose with one leg up, just marching in the air, keeping your pelvis level. That's the challenge here. You don't want your pelvis to tilt side to side. You can do a roll-up version of bridge with one leg up and table. But this is more of a challenge for you when your SI is not having any major issues. And after you've put in a good time with the hovering butterflies. Like I would not be doing this if my SI is weak. And maybe I should not be doing this since my SI has been through a lot yesterday. But I feel good right now. After the hovering butterflies, I feel like perfect, actually. This was really good for my SI. No issues. That little whiny complaint is completely gone. Finish up. Grab your knees into chest. A little Apanasana pulse. We'll do the mildest twist, not to stress out the SI, because the twist can put some stress on the sacroiliac joint. So we'll have our feet on the floor. This is the only version that doesn't disrupt it, because you have your legs together, your pelvis in neutral, and you make it small. As you exhale, you twist, and you don't let the knees come apart. It's like your whole lower part is one, like a mermaid's tail. And then you exhale and twist. You don't have to bring it to the floor. If that means your knees have to come apart, don't go there. Continue at your pace, lengthening the exhale to your comfortable maximum. This will have a wonderfully soothing effect on the nervous system. So let's attend to that for the next minute or two. Longest exhale. Neutral pelvis. And here again, I like not to be stuck on the mat. I can just glide and slide and spread on the floor and let my body flow into shape. Flowing lava. I'm feeling warm. I'm feeling well mobilized, all the joints feeling juicy. And turning the head away from the knees continues this lymph flow idea. And then we'll do more Apanasana at the end for a little symmetry. Here we'll continue to build the length of the exhalation. So hold on to your knees, use your arms as you inhale, straighten the elbows, and only let out as far as your arms reach. And then exhale, guide them in. Pulse, shoulders relaxed, jaw relaxed, little head turn side to side. Inhale out. Exhale long. Another minute of this, and we're almost done. Now for your final relax, again I recommend putting the pelvis up on a little elevation. So you can use, I use Miracle balls or Franklin balls to prop my pelvis up. You can have a pillow or blanket or block. Another way to make this even better is to put your feet up on the wall at the same time like this. So if you have a chair or a couch or a coffee table nearby, you can just put your feet up. So this is a version of Viparita Karani that's very nice. Pelvis up a little bit, so it's not much. It's not like a shoulder stand by any means, you can see. Arms are wide, but not like there, but just like comfortable, so you feel across the chest, that nice opening, and relax. And you can repeat a little massage of your neck, just sliding the fingers upwards along the back of the neck. A percussion massage of the thymus gland, also recommended. Just drum the breastbone lightly with your fingers, like that. Thymus gland plays an important role in immune response. You can also drum for your gallbladder, make loose fists and put your elbows on the floor wide out at your sides so that when your fists hit your ribs, it's out to the side, not on top, but as far out to the sides, and just do a little drum there. Plus helps to ventilate the bottom lungs. This virus, coronavirus, attacks the lungs. I was studying up on this, and the virus attacks the receptors in the cells of the lungs. So keeping your lungs healthy with deep breathing is very important. So relax and breathe. Try and re-engage your full diaphragmatic breathing here. Inhaling into the lower lungs, expanding the lower ribs circumferentially in all directions. Long exhalations for stress release, tension release. You can stay here for a few more minutes if you want. I'm going to conclude. When you're ready to come out, remove your bolster support balls, come onto your side, and pause there for a second to just give your nervous system extra time to transition, so it's never harsh jumping up. It's just really respectful and calm transition. Sit for a moment before I'm gonna sit in Vajrasana again to keep my SI happy. One of the things I've given up or gone on a strict diet is sitting in a lotus pose for long periods of time like I used to do. So I'm sitting on my heels now primarily for my pranayama and meditation. If your knees are unhappy with this position, but you do want to keep your SI happy, you can sit up on a block or even a chair. And I thank you for joining me. Namaste. Stay safe, stay healthy. Maybe I'll do this again. This was kind of fun.